conservative media viewers and NBA fans all around the world, and Jeremy Lin fans all around the world. What is up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the four-time national champion, and I have to talk about this Jeremy Lin situation right here and right now. I cannot believe, in my personal opinion, I cannot believe that the New York Knicks just let Jeremy Lin go. You're talking about a global superstar. A global superstar. And in my personal opinion, this may be, first of all, my personal, because you know I'm going to get going. This is all my personal opinion only. I'm not alleging any facts. I'm casting any spirit. All fair entertainment purpose only. Please check the disclaimers. Now we're talking hoops, but we're also talking business. Okay? This is professional sports, and that means that there's a business component to it, and that's the whole deal. People do this for a living. They're getting paid, and that money comes from the fans. Okay, so here's the deal. In my personal opinion, do you think that this may have been one of the worst business decisions maybe in the history of the NBA? I think we may need some analysis on this situation, and here's what I mean by that. Okay, apparently, let's just set the table first. I guess the reports were that maybe Jim Dolan and management at the Knicks possibly weren't so happy with the way the contract was structured from the Rockets, that they'd have to match in the third year and the $14 million and the luxury tax and blah blah, salary cap, blah 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 blah, zip it. Okay, here's what's up. That's fine. You can make any kind of argument that you want. JDV is only 25 games and the X's and O's and Jeremy Lin's stats and this and that, whatever. Timeout. First of all, I'll put Jeremy Lin's stats up against anybody, particularly with the level of experience and everything that Jeremy Lin's had and all that type of situation. The impact that Jeremy Lin had on that ball club, that's number one, just stats. Okay, number one. Number two, let's talk about overall impact. Team impact. I believe that Jeremy Lin is like Tim Tebow in that you put the stats to the side, the overall impact on the team in terms of distributing the ball, in terms of motivating the players, in terms of effort, in terms of never quit attitude. How many clutch fourth quarter performances did Jeremy Lin have? How many times did he put that entire team, in my personal opinion, figuratively on his back and just hit shots, dude, or drive to the lane, through the lane, right to the hoop and get it done? Okay, let's deal with that. But put all of that aside for a second and deal with this, because in my personal opinion, this is the bottom line. This is reality. Here's the deal. From a business perspective, because that's what apparently people are worried about. Oh, JDV, the contract, $14 million or what, blah, blah, blah. How much do you believe that Jeremy Lin has been worth to the New York Knicks? I'm talking in terms of this whole TV situation that got worked out with the cable thing. I can't remember exactly what was it, Time Warner and stuff, and MSG. That got worked out in my personal opinion, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. Number one. Number two, MSG, publicly traded company, I believe. Check out the MSG stock before Jeremy Lin and Linsanity and after. Enough said. Done. Okay, that's number two. Number three, check out the ticket sales before and after Linsanity. Okay, do you understand that? Number four, what about all the merchandise? What about all the merchandise and stuff that was selling globally for Jeremy Lin and New York Knicks and all that type of situation? I mean, it is so hard, in my personal opinion, to put a price tag on the value that Jeremy Lin and Linsanity and the global fan base has been beneficial for not just the New York Knicks, but also New York City. There's that aspect to it too. Perhaps you may want to include, in my personal opinion. Now, so that's the whole thing right there. The business and financial analysis. How do you stack all that up with not worth $14 million 3 years from now? How does that work out? In my personal opinion, you could pay Jeremy Lin $50 million, maybe even $100 million, and you're still getting a great deal for it. Okay? Jim Dolan and New York Knicks, what were you thinking? Let me ask you a question. oh, okay, maybe the hardcore stats people and the hardcore basketball fans and that whatever. What's going to happen to the casual basketball fan now? What's going to happen to the Jeremy Lin basketball fan? What's going to happen to the Jeremy Lin fan, period? How many people, let's just say the average person who never really watched a basketball game before Jeremy Lin, do you think that person cares about the New York Knicks now? Do you think that fan cares about the New York Knicks now? How many times has, let's say, Felton been on ESPN highlights? How many ESPYs has Felton won? How many jerseys has Felton sold in the last year compared to Jeremy Lin? Are you kidding me? Who is doing who's making these decisions over there? How are you making these decisions over there? I mean, right now, I can tell you, and I'm someone who's really into sports just like I am. I mean, I'm not super into basketball, but I'm into basketball in certain teams and definitely the playoffs and stuff. And this NBA action has been fantastic, and props up to David Stern and the entire league this last year. And of course, the Miami Heat. Miami Heat are my number one team. Guess who's my second favorite team now? Houston Rockets. You see how that works? Boom, Jeremy Lin. It makes it work right there. And I love Texas anyway, and that whole situation. And I remember, Hakeem and all that stuff, and the Twin Towers, and Samson, and everything like that. But now we're talking about Jeremy Lin. And what happens if they get D12? Oh my goodness. It's over, dude. And that's what I'm trying to tell you right now. I mean, now you have a situation here where you've dealt Jeremy Lin, and look at the age, too. Look at the age now on the New York Knicks. I mean, how old are these dudes now? I mean, Jason Kidd, love Jason Kidd, go Bears, fellow Bears player. Met Jason a couple times, this and that, whatever. He's great. Guess what? 39. Okay? I love you, Jason, and you're fantastic, bro. But I mean, hey, what happens, dude? I mean, come on. Versus Jeremy Lin and everything like that. So Jason's great. Look, Jason's going to be a great addition to that ball club. There's no doubt about it, in my personal opinion. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that's possibly investing for the long-term future. Okay, Felton. What? I mean, are you kidding me, dude? I wouldn't know who Felton was if you gave me like a picture and a GPS tracker with the receiver on him. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, and I no disrespect. Anything like that. I'm talking about the casual fans. I'm talking about business. The kind of impact that Jeremy Lin had is, in my personal opinion, to the sport, is the kind of impact that a Tiger Woods has with golf, a Roger Federer has with tennis, or Nadal for that matter, and maybe even Djokovic now, or whatever, that a Mike Tyson had to boxing, that a Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather Jr. has to boxing and stuff like that, or a Tim Tebow to football. It's massive. It's massive. And if you are running a professional basketball club, you have to deal with the business and financial impact of your product. You can't listen to the little sports writers and the little statisticians, this and that, whatever. You have to ask yourself, from a business perspective, in my personal opinion, who is going to put people in the stands? Who is going to move merchandise? Who is going to get eyeballs for viewership and stuff like that? And from that point and standpoint and basis, then you can start deciding, in my personal opinion, who is most valuable to your ball club. That's my personal opinion. Now, of course, you want to win championship, absolutely. But again, did Jeremy Lin help you do that? Yes, he did. I mean, these things, in other words, let the fans tell you what to do, okay? The fans, by and large, are going to like the better players. Therefore, if, let's say, Jeremy Lin is horrible, it's not whatever, long term, then maybe he wouldn't be worth it. But right now, today, 2012, when you're signing contracts, and, when there's a risk, JDV, and there's a risk with every contract. Okay, let's time out with that whole situation, because I'll get back to that. Let's do a little compare and contrast. Amare Stoudemire. I like Amare. He's cool. He's a great player, everything like that. Amare Stoudemire, I believe, gets $18 million in 2012, okay? 18 million. And you're worried about Jeremy Lin getting 14 million? What? Facial? I don't understand what you're talking about, bro. I don't get it. I don't get what you're doing here. Well, JDV, Amare Stoudemire, and he's a superstar, and Amare has done this and that, and whatever like that. Yeah, you know what? Amare Stoudemire missed some time this year. Okay, Jeremy Lin got hurt too. Yeah, he was playing a heck of a lot because he had to play, because guess what? Melo was out for a while and Amare was out for a while, whatever like that. But okay, fine. People get hurt, okay, so we'll put that all to the side. Yeah, but here's what Jeremy Lin doesn't do that Amare did do. Put his hand through a fire extinguisher case there, or whatever like that, and have his hand all messed up and everything like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're investing $18 million in Amare Stoudemire, who put his own hand through glass, apparently, possibly? I mean, what? What at a critical time for the team? I mean, Jeremy Lin, in my personal opinion, you will never have to worry about Jeremy Lin doing something like that. So this is just absolutely stunning. Like, I just can't get it from any perspective whatsoever. But look, as a Miami Heat fan, this basically assures me that the Miami Heat is going to sweep the East again next year. I don't think that's, in my personal opinion, even a question at this stage of the game. I mean, with the Chicago Bulls and Derrick Rose, with his injury and stuff like that, and obviously that Ray Allen now from Boston over there in Miami, and et cetera, now this move with the New York Knicks. What are the New York Knicks thinking? In my personal opinion, they're going to really hear it from the fans, and not unlike that whole situation there in Denver with Tim Tebow and Peyton Manning and stuff like that, and John Elway. Now listen, Peyton Manning, unbelievable quarterback and stuff like that. But again, at least in that situation, you're taking one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and you're putting him in your system. In other words, you're trading Peyton Manning essentially for Tim Tebow. What are you doing here? Okay, yeah, Jason Kidd is fantastic. Jason Kidd is up there in age and stuff like that. Felton? What? I mean, what? Dude, I just don't get it. But really, it's a similar situation in this aspect. If the New York Knicks do not perform at least as good as the Houston Rockets and Jeremy Lin this next season, in my personal opinion, meaning management and ownership of the New York Knicks, are going to hear about it from the fans. Because that's the whole thing about the New York situation right there, is that media market, in my personal opinion, can turn on you. And those fans, in my personal opinion, may let you hear about it. And it's the same thing with Tim Tebow and, Peyton Manning and John Elway and stuff like that. If the New York Jets do better, particularly if Tebow gets playing time, and let alone if at some point, for some reason, he starts this and that, whatever, then the Denver Broncos, I think that John Elway and the ownership and management of the Broncos, may hear about it from their fans. And that's what's up. I mean, wow, I just can't even understand this. I just can't even understand that this is, in my personal opinion, such a colossally bad business decision for the New York Knicks. I just don't even, I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm thinking about it right now, and I just don't think that there's any great way out of this that they even recover. Even if let's say that the Knicks make it well into the playoffs, this, that, whatever. I mean, again, you're going to face the Miami Heat. So how do you draw up any sort of realistic game plan for the Knicks by which they would win the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't think you can count on that by any stretch of the imagination. And again, when has this team really showed for any extended period of time that they work together well as a unit without Jeremy Lin? Recent history here with this last season and stuff like that. So I mean, and with this team, I mean, it's not like Boston's just going nowhere. It's not like the New York Knicks are going nowhere. 76ers. I mean, there's other teams. I mean, that are definitely going to be in the mix and are definitely going to contend with the Knicks. And again, you have age on the Knicks. I mean, let me tell you this right now, in my personal opinion, if the Knicks fail to make the playoffs, or are one and done, but let alone if they fail to make the playoffs, oh my goodness, Think about that. And if the Houston Rockets get D12, and I believe, in my personal opinion, from the reports I've seen, that they're making, strong moves to do that with Jeremy Lin, and they, get in, do well, do better than the Knicks. Oh man, I mean, I don't know that management and ownership of the New York Knicks will ever hear the end of this for quite some time. I mean, this is just shocking. It's stunning. I don't get it. It makes zero sense to me. Zero business sense. I absolutely am floored, and I just got to turn over to the fans right now, because, I mean, there's so much more I want to say, but I'm almost speechless, because I cannot fathom anybody making this sort of move. I mean, I don't. If you have the kind of money to own a NBA franchise, let alone this franchise, the New York Knickerbockers, the New York Knicks. If you have that kind of money, obviously you've had tremendous business success. You have to have a lot of intelligence and business ability, in my personal opinion, unless you inherited it or whatever. How do you go from that kind of incredible ability, wealth, resources, business background, to making this kind of, in my personal opinion, questionable business decision? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But I tell you this, and I maybe do another video on this. Knowing what I know now, shooting this video, I'm glad the New York Knicks didn't match that offer. I'm glad for Jeremy Lin, because guess what? If the New York Knicks management and ownership couldn't see fit to give Jeremy Lin $14 million, didn't feel that Jeremy Lin was worth that 3 years from now, based upon the improvements, based upon the evolution, the escalation of his talent and his play, and the impact that he's had on this team and this business and this franchise, then I say, I'm glad you didn't. Good for Jeremy Lin. Go to Houston, somewhere that obviously wanted to pay him that, felt he was worth it, and wants him to play and start, and is going to help build a team around him. I think that's good for Jeremy Lin. But I mean, I'm going to leave with this. In your personal opinion, was this one of the, if not the worst, business decisions ever done in the NBA? Where are you at on this, and what do you have to say about this? Because I know people are going to be talking back and forth, and we're going to hear all of it. So Jeremy Lin fans sound off, New York Knicks fans sound off, Houston Rocket fans sound off. Everybody needs to talk about this. Give me the comments below. Please subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion. You're watching Conservative New Media. Please rate this video up. Also, please post to your social networking sites. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.